Hi, this is Jeff Goldberg from jgsalespro.com and the Sales Pro Broadcast Network, here with another tip designed to help you sell more effectively and increase your income. Today's topic is establishing rapport, and this is one that's near and dear to my heart. I find that quite often salespeople simply skip this step or downplay it and do very little establishing of rapport. The challenge here is that we salespeople want to get right to the point, because we think the prospect is going to kick us out of their office. And if we get to the point quickly, we can get in and out quickly and get on to the next prospect and see more people, put more people in our pipeline. The prospect, by the way, also wants us to get right to the point because they have busy lives and busy days ahead of them, and they'd like us to just tell them why we're there and get out so they can get on to that stuff. But the real problem is that even though the prospect wants us to get to the point and we want to get right to the point, it simply doesn't work as well as when we invest the time in getting to know our prospect a little bit and establishing rapport. So I'm going to share with you my favorite technique for establishing rapport with a prospect that you've never met before. I simply walk in and I ask them to talk about their favorite subject. Now, I don't say it in those exact words, but I happen to know that everybody has the same favorite subject, and everybody's favorite subject is themselves. So what I want to do when I'm getting to know a prospect is I want to find a way to get them talking about themselves. And I do that quite simply by saying, Mr. or Ms. Prospect, I'm just curious, before we get started, how'd you get to be, and then I fill in the blank with whatever their title is. Now in my world, that's typically president or CEO or the VP of sales or above. So I might start out by walking in and saying, hi Bob, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad we could invest this time together, but before we get started, I'm just curious, how'd you get to be the vice president of sales here at Cisco Corporation? Or how'd you get to be the president, or whatever their actual title is? So I'm using what I call a softener, which is a word which makes the question more conversational. My softener in this case would be, I'm just curious. And I'm saying before we get started, because when I do that, it's kind of like the sales call hasn't even started yet, we're just two people having a conversation. So again, it'd be something like, hey Sue, I'm just curious, before we get started, how'd you get to be the president of the company here at XYZ Company? Now, if you're in inside sales, that doesn't work quite as well, although you can try that, but you can go with something more general when you're in inside sales, selling over the phone, such as, where are you calling from today, or where am I speaking to you at? How's the weather there? How long have you lived there? Anything like that, but you don't want to get right to the point. Even though you want to do that and the prospect wants us to do that, it works far better when we invest a little bit of time to establish rapport. Now, once I've asked that question about my prospect and they start opening up about themselves, I'm simply looking them in the eye, nodding my head occasionally like this, not that big nod, but that small, subtle psychological nod that says, I'm listening, please continue. And I'm going to say things like, really? No kidding. Why'd you do that? How'd that work out? Because people typically give you their resume when you ask them to tell you about how they got to be who they are. So I'm just encouraging them to speak further. Also, I'm taking an occasional note. I'll have a legal pad and a pen out, and I'll jot down an occasional note so that I can A, remember what they told me afterwards because it might be useful, and B, it also lets them know that I'm paying attention to them and the words that they're choosing to use are important to me. So, the coaching for today is please take the time to establish rapport with your prospects before getting into the sales process itself and asking questions and doing all the other things that you need to do. Establishing rapport will pay off. As always, if you have any questions that I can help you with, you're welcome to call me. My direct line is 516-608-4136, or you can email me at jeff@jgsalespro.com. If you have any questions that you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video, again, you can email or call me, or you can leave them in the comments below. Make it a great day and make sales happen.